Bandra, Mumbai. Along with this, Sir has been honored with research fellowship, with senior research fellowship for pursuing PhD and junior research fellowship for pursuing MPharm. He is the life member of APTI, IPA, IPGA, ISCA, SPUR, APP, and ISSRF. Sir has 85 national and international publications with total citation of 3550, with H index 32 and I-10 index of 53. Along with this, Sir is having 2 patents, 10 book chapters, and 5 books to his credit. Sir holds a position of editorial board member and reviewer of various national and international journals. I welcome you, sir. And it's now over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Anjali. Am I audible? Dr. Anjali, am I audible?
No, sir, you're not audible.
Hello, Dr. Kumar.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, thankful to the organizing committee who invited me and gave me this opportunity to share my views, whatever I have learned from my experience, respected principals, faculty members, and dear participants. Basically, when Dr. Anjali approached me for a session, so let me tell you very frankly, I usually prefer to talk the basic things that are very essential because, you know, from last 19 years, I'm serving in this profession. And what I found that basically even teachers, they're not looking for the basic things. And that is why the things that are percolated from the teachers to students that are lacking continuously. So that is why I chose the topic, the research and academic writing. So before starting my session, I would love to interact with the participants because, you know, it's not a lecture, it's not a session, it's an interactive one, and it's a two-way process that you might have observed after this Corona period. Now, when again the classes started in offline mode, the students were very happy because, you know, in online mode, few challenges are there, but still when every challenge comes with an opportunity. So I think we are using this opportunity as I am sitting in Indore and I'm interacting with the students and the participants from across the country. So thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen. Dr. Anjali, please allow me to share my screen. My screen is visible, Dr. Anjali?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So I have kept my talk. I divide into two sections. One is basic research and second one is the academic writing. So as I told you, when we talk about the fundamentals of the basics, we must understand the research and academic writing. So I'll start with the research. So what do you mean by research? As we pronounce research, if you divide this into two, re plus search, or again you pronounce from the backside, search, re. That means you're searching again. Searching again means you're simply searching for that thing which is already existing. And you are continuously searching till then it is hitting the truth. So basically it is an act of pursuit of truth. So as I was listening to respected principal, as he said that now everyone college is looking for the accreditation process and where everyone is demanding for the research, quality research. So what I mean to say, we'll go for the quality research, but first we should understand what kind of research we are talking about. Because, you know, in academics, there are certain other challenges. Apart from the research, you have to perform number of duties. You have to go for the class teaching, you have to go for the practicals, you have to perform the examination duties, number of things. So you must understand the basic concept of research, and the same manner you have to prepare your students accordingly. If we talk about the definition, as now the students are very internet savvy, so the definition given by the Merriam-Webster, it's a careful or diligent search, or if you talk technically, it is the systematic investigation of scientific theories and hypotheses. Now, two words are coming. It's an organized and systematic way of finding answer to questions. Why systematic? Because you're going for the definite set of procedures and steps that you're going to follow for conducting your research. And when you're talking about organized, because there is a proper structure, it is planned way. It is not random that whatever study you are doing, first step done, then fifth step done. There's a proper structure is there, proper schematic is there, proper theme is there. Now, may I ask question? Dr. Anjali?
Yes, sir, sure.
The thing is, why we conduct research? If anyone can just write in chat box, or I ask in another way, when we look for any product or any process development, why we go for it? What is the basic reason? Anyone? I would be very happy, because if it is interactive one, then definitely you will find few things. Take a message for as an outcome of this session. Anyone? Why we go for research? Why we go for product development or process development? Okay. Very nice, Nilima, to find out facts. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, to develop such existing things for theory. Very nice, Muskan. Okay, find out solution of a problem, to identify new methods and techniques. Very nice, very nice. All answers are correct. But let me tell you, being a teacher, there should be approach that your method should be such a layman should be able to understand what you are trying to convey, what you're trying to teach. So the basic answer is need. The answer is need, requirement. Until there is no need, we won't go for product development, we won't go for process development, we won't go for research. Example, need, you take example of mobile phone. If you talk about your fathers and forefathers, there were only landline phones. The need came that while you are moving, it should be handy one. Then mobile came. Then later on, the need came that everything should be in your mobile. The mobile should be smart one. So now, with the help of mobile, even though no need of your tablet, your computer, desktop, everything, every function can be performed with the help of your mobile phone. So the things start from need. And this need gives you an idea. And there was punchline of idea. An idea can change your life. If I'm not wrong, there was a quotation given by the idea company that an idea can change your life. So it's true in your routine life also. When idea comes, you are going to convert in a form of concept. And then later on, this concept is developed inside the lab. Further, then you go for the experimentation, research, testing. Then it comes as an output, as a product. Right? So whatever answers you have given already, it is written that what is the purpose of research? You look for the discovery of new facts. You look for verification of the old facts. That is why we are going for research. Please keep in mind, while we are talking about whatever words we are pronouncing, itself, it is giving a meaning. Research, when search is already, it is there. It's a continuous process. While you're looking from research, that means you're looking from your own angle based on some facts. So either you're looking for generation of new facts, or whatever facts are available, you're going to verify it. So few researchers, scientists that believe that it may be for the purpose of descriptive, it may be to explore further, or it may be for testing of the hypothesis that is prevalent. And this hypothesis may be for the analytical hypothesis testing or for predictive hypothesis testing. But later on, I'll cover this in detail. Now, any research, what are the basic characteristics of the research? So, number one is solution oriented. Why I'm talking about the solution oriented? That means it should be action oriented, solution oriented. That means whatever problem is there. So, to get a solution, your problem statement should be very much clear. What kind of problem is there and you're looking for a solution. So it should be solution oriented. Your objective, your purpose, your problem statement should be very clear. Then only you look for a solution. It should be logical. Why I'm talking about logical? Because sometimes the reason or inferences what we drawn from our research, it is very vague. It should not be vague. There must be logic. Suppose the temperature is increasing. So why this reason is?
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Sir, slide is not changing. Now it's changing.
It is there?
Sir, now it's changed. Before it was not changing.
Is it visible now?
Now it's visible, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so why it should be logical? Suppose if you're saying that while you're reducing the size, it is going to increase your solubility. So there must be logic. Why this particle size reduction is going to increase the solubility. It should not be vague one. It should be logical one. Now, third one is it is objective. Without motive, without objective, there is no use of any kind of research. So your statement, your objective should be very much clear. Impartial means there should not be, your research should not be biased one. So sometimes what happens when we take the data to give some favor to our near and dear ones. So it should not happen with the research. It should be partial. It should not be partial one. It should not be biased. It should be bias free. So you can take decision very corrective one. Accurate. We should use our expertise to get the accurate result. Result should be accurate. Accuracy is very much important. Systematic, again, as I have talked in definition, systematic, because you have definite set of procedures, planned procedures. So you're going for systematic one. Variable, when you are going for verifiable, what do you mean by verifiable? It means whatever results you are producing, it should be reproducible. Whatever I am doing, what procedure I have given, if you are going to repeat it, it should be reproducible. It should be verifiable. Then empirical. Empirical means it should be based on your observation. It should be based on the experimentation, not on based on ideas only. So these are few characteristics of research that should be there. Now, as Dr. Anjali said, there are different types of research, and she said that we are going to talk about few things so you can take the advantage in quantitative and qualitative research. So there are various types of research. The descriptive research. Anyone would like to answer? Descriptive research I'm talking about. Descriptive, as it is very, it is visible from the name also, descriptive. Some descriptions are there. The data collections are there. Then you are going to interpret it. It is going to analyze it. And initially it is performed in form of survey. And when you are talking about the description, it is uncontrollable. The description is there. You are trying to explore the research. So whole description is there. The data collection is there. Facts are there. Analysis is there. But it is not controllable. Now, as we compare with the descriptive one, second one is analytical. Here it is what will be. What will be? You're looking for the scientific way, the manipulative way, and it is more controlled. Whatever variables you're going to take, it is in controlled manner. Now, the third one is applied research. Why I'm talking about the applied research? Every time we look for applied research. Applied means action-oriented, solution-oriented. Whatever set of problem is there, it should be able to provide the immediate solution to the proposed problem, to the proposed statement. Now, the fundamental research, next one. Fundamental, as always, we give the emphasis on fundamentals, basic theories. basic principles. So it is not going to provide the immediate solution to the problem, but rather it is going to draw the conclusion at long-term basis. But it is going to support some theories, some principle. Now, next one is quantitative research. When we talk about the research in terms of quantity, size, price, some quantity is there, temperature. So this is whatever research we are carrying out in terms of quantity. And next one, it is qualitative. Qualitative research, that is not in terms of quantity. You cannot measure in a unit. For example, you take the feedback from the market, the customers, whether you like it, whether you dislike it. You talk about human behavior. So you see the improvement in qualitatively, not quantitatively. You cannot measure in units. How is your behavior? It is qualitative. Empirical research, as I told you earlier, empirical, based on experiment, based on observation. And if you compare empirical research based as compared with the conceptual, that is based on only ideas. Some idea is coming, but it is not having any support with the facts and data, that you go for empirical research. That is based on your observation, that is based on your evidence, that is based on your experiments. Now, I'm going to talk about the research process. This is what basics we discussed. This is very much essential for the PG students, even from the B.Pharm students in the final year when they perform the projects. PG students, even faculty members, those who have enrolled for the PhD. What is the basic research flow process? As I mentioned, whatever is going to start, it starts from the problem formulation. The first, foremost thing, that is the most important part, is problem statement. Until unless your problem is not clear, your objective is not clear, what you are exactly looking for. And that is supported by the existing literature. So you go for literature survey. After your formation of your statement, after identifying your problem, you go for the next step, literature survey. Now, the question may come, when to perform the literature survey, how to perform, and how much literature survey is required. Can anyone answer? Dr. Anjali, I request, because I am sharing my screen, if anyone is going to write in chat box, please let me know. Can anyone answer? Why we go for literature survey? And when to perform literature survey? If anyone would like to answer, Dr. Anjali, please allow to unmute.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very nice. I'm getting some answers to find out the research gaps before doing research. Very nice. In the beginning of thesis, very nice. Again, your answers are correct. But you know, this is a continuous process. Literature survey, it's a continuous process that should be done from the beginning till the end of the research. Because you know, the day you have formulated your problem, you identified your problem, and you have gone through the existing literature, but you're not aware when you started your research, within this time frame, few more research papers, few more theses are available. So literature survey, whenever we talk about whether it's at PG level or it is the PhD level, you go for continuous literature survey. So I would like to suggest whatever the candidate have given the answers, and whosoever is looking for the research, they have to continuously go for the literature survey. Now you are privileged that now the e-libraries are available, e-literature is there. Otherwise, earlier we used to go to visit library physically. And now at each moment you can cross check. Few sites are there, PubMed is there, Science Direct is there, and even in Google, whatever paper, literature, magazines, theses are available, very easily you can find out. Now, based on your literature survey, the existing literature survey, the data available, you are trying to make a hypothesis. Yes, this type of hypothesis would be formulated after the existing literature survey. Based on the hypothesis, you're going to plan your research that comes under research design. Now, the next things, based on your research design, how much sample is required. So again, you're going to plan for your sample designing. And based on your sample designing, you look for the data collection, the kind of methods, you look for the data collection. And once you collect the data that comes under the experimental section, you go for collection of data and facts and followed by the data interpretation. And once you go for the data interpretation, you go for cross-check whatever hypothesis you have formulated earlier, whether based on this facts and data, whether it is supporting your hypothesis. So you're going to check your hypothesis. Finally, you will draw your conclusion and based on your results. And at last, the output comes in form of report writing. Now, this report may be for the purpose of your dissertation, for the purpose of your PhD, right? And further, this report is formulated in forms of your publication, in form of your patent, and so on. Any question from this research process?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Sir, I am a student of M.Pharm final year.
Okay.
My name is Shivani,
Yeah,
and
beta.
I ask one question.
Yeah.
After patent of my research, and if I want to commercialize, then what procedures can be followed?
What procedure can be followed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If
Yeah, please continue.
yes, sir, यही पूछना था कि अगर हमें कमर्शलाइज तक ले जाना हो अपने पेटेंट को, तो हम कैसे प्रोसीजर फॉलो करेंगे कि हमारी जो ड्रग है जो हमने बनाई है वो कमर्शलाइज हो जाए?
Shivani, very good question you have asked. But let me tell you, when we initialize our research, as I'm talking about the problem formulation, and you found that whatever research you carried out that was novel, that is new, and instead of going for the publication, you preferred that you have filed a patent. Now the section is there, Shivani, while you're going to file the patent, you look for a patent which is having some commercial value, and even patent agent will guide you कि इस पेटेंट में आपकी कमर्शियल वैल्यू कितनी है या कितनी हो सकती है. इसलिए जो whatever process I am talking about, what the flow we are talking about, आपका जो रिसर्च का आप डेटा जनरेट कर रहे हैं, आपको एक एक मोमेंट का डेटा डेट वाइज टाइम वाइज यू हैव टू कलेक्ट द डेटा. एंड एक जो इनिशियली हम पेटेंट फाइल करते हैं वो चेक करते हैं प्रायर आर्ट सर्च कि इस टाइप की कोई रिसर्च है क्या, क्योंकि आप जो आपका फील्ड ऑफ इन्वेंशन लिखते हैं, समरी ऑफ इन्वेंशन लिखते हैं और क्लेम करते हैं, तो आप क्लेम में वही बताते हैं कि ये कितना आपका रिसर्च जो है नोबेल है, कमर्शलाइजेबल है. और अभी मैं बात करूंगा कुछ रिसेंट ट्रेंड्स की, जो टॉपिक आपने लिया है कि इमर्जिंग ट्रेंड्स क्या है, तो उसमें यही बात आती है कि आपकी रिसर्च तभी यूजफुल है वंस इट इज गोइंग टू कन्वर्ट फ्रॉम बेंच टू बेड साइड. It is not limited up to the lab, or it should be helpful for the mass society, then only your research is useful. तो जब आप इस तरह से अपनी रिसर्च को करेंगे, क्योंकि हम जो नॉर्मल प्रोसेस है क्या करते हैं, we find out the project and usually I am talking about the procedure कि स्टूडेंट कैसे फॉर्मुलेट करते हैं. इसका टैबलेट अवेलेबल है, कैप्सूल नहीं है, so we'll formulate the capsule without knowing the importance कि whether it is required. ऑइंटमेंट है, क्रीम नहीं है, gel nahi hai, we'll formulate the gel, but whether gel is required, what about the stability, what are the challenges? So you have to analyze from all the possible angles. दूसरा पेटेंट वही काम के हैं जो कमर्शलाइज, जो आपने पूछा है कि जैसे अभी कोविड में हुआ, कोविड में बहुत सारे ऐसे रिसर्च हुई जो बल्क में मास में पहुंचे. जैसे आपने मशीन्स बनाई थी, हैंड सैनिटाइजर आपने बनाए थे कि जो आपने इंस्टीट्यूट में जैसे एंटर करते हैं फुट ऑपरेटेड सैनिटाइजिंग मशीन, तो ये बल्क में यूज हुई क्योंकि विदाउट टचिंग द मशीन, बिकॉज अर्लियर द कॉन्सेप्ट वाज देयर कि यू आर गोइंग टू टच एनीथिंग, देयर आर चांसेस ऑफ स्प्रेड ऑफ द वायरस. Are you getting my point? So whatever research statement you are trying to find out, problem statement, it from the beginning itself, you have to go for exhaustive literature survey, and you're trying to find out the existing facts, whether this research is going to be helpful at mass level. Then only your research will be useful. Shivani, are you getting the answer?
Okay, sir.
Any doubt? I hope I have tried to give you the gist of your question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other question? Dr. Anjali, can I move further?
Yes, sir.
Now, I am coming to the basic problem, because as you have seen that I have guided more than 40 students, and this is my common observation from last 4 or 5 years, that when students are coming after completion of their graduation and directly take the admission in M.Pharm, and when the question comes of academic writing, they are feeling so much burden, they are in great trouble, because the kind of orientation is not there. And even today, it was mentioned by Dr. Anjali that everyone is looking for the accreditation process. And it is the basic requirement from the NAC or NBA that the kind of research is going on in your college. But let me tell you, dear students, if the concept is clear, very easily you can take part in this process. Because it is very important step. You do the research after formulating. Dr. Anjali, can you ask to unmute, mute if your noise is there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure.
May I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Why this problem comes? Because, you know, the problem statement is given by the teacher. Planner work has been given by the teacher even. And anyhow, students completed the research work. But now the task that is very essential, academic writing. Because it's a formal style of writing. Nowadays, it is required by the university and required for the publication purpose. And why this problem comes? Because the communication is in English language. As a foreign language, the English is the only language that is required. Now, what kind of academic writing should be there? The writing should be fast, it should be reader friendly. Why it should be reader friendly? Because whenever we take any paper, any book, any literature to read, if you are not able to connect with the book, you lose your interest. So it should be reader friendly. Second one, in academic writing, critical thinking and critical reading is required. I'm sorry to say, nowadays students don't like to read. They rather prefer to play with the mobile phones. Now everything has come to the hand, the soft copy, e-copies, no hard copies. But let me tell you, while you're going for the research, you have to take the printouts of your publications and research papers, the existing facts, and you have to go for the critical reading. And after reading, you have to think very critically, not superficially. Because, you know, you have gone through the 4 or 5 papers and you decide that, yes, this problem can be there. We can go in this way. But critically, because you are the only researcher that you are looking for the solution also, first you have to give your critics to your research. Then third one is language. Language should be such, it should be easy, it should be readable, it should be presentable. And next one is rational should be there. And the language you are using, it should be logical. That is supported by the facts and results, and it must be cohesive. Repetition should be avoided. What is happening actually when we going and copying from the number of papers, the things we are repeating again and again. So these 4 things are very common in academic writing. While you're going for, it should be reader friendly. The critical thinking and reading is required. Language should be very, polished, and rational should be there. It should be logical and it should be cohesive. Now, again, two questions comes in your mind, because teacher is saying, just go and refer review paper, go and refer research paper. So what is the difference between review and research paper? I request students, if you answer this question, difference between review and research paper, because both are publication. Review is also published, research is also published at international and national level, both. But what is the difference between review and research paper? Anyone?
Sir,
Yes.
review paper, review articles in which we search different review literature survey
Okay.
and general articles, and it is based on the hypothesis.
Okay.
But in research, we will perform all experiments which are needed for the research.
Okay. Very nice. Anyone else?
Sir, review paper is a secondary source and research paper is primary source.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Review paper, secondary source and research paper is primary source, which are work done by individual, and review paper, which are research on exciting paper.
Why I'm asking this question? Because, once the students started doing PG degree, and they have been asked to go for the literature survey and write the paper, but they're not aware about what do you mean by review paper and what do you mean by research paper. So basically, review paper, review, whatever is available, literature is available, you are just going to view it. You are not performing any experiment. You are not generating your own data. Rather, what you are doing, whatever literature is available, you are just compiling, you are just gathering the information, and you're presenting in form of review paper. Whenever any domain is there, in any topic you are taking, suppose we are taking about the cancer therapies. So whatever cancer therapies are available, number of researchers, they have published the paper. What you are doing, you're compiling all information and compiling it, and you're publishing in your own style. That is simply review. But while you're going for research, the existing facts are available, but you are generating your own data. Then you are verifying the data, comparing, analyzing, and you are presenting. That is your research paper. That is based on some data, based on some facts. And that is performed by yourself or your colleagues. So now here I am just discussing about the research paper. They are the common sections given in any kind of research paper. First is title. Your title should be very simple. It should be very catchy. And basically your structure of your paper starts from abstract. And abstract, it is the central idea. While you're going for reading the abstract only, you come to an idea that, yes, this kind of research has been done by the particular researcher, and whether this research is helpful, whether it is not helpful. It is superficial or it is descriptive one. So only reading after abstract. So this is whole idea about the paper that is presented in form of abstract. Next one is introduction section. Usually it comprises of 2 to 3 paragraphs in which you are going to mention about your problem. You're going to define it. You're going to mention your objectives and your rationale of the work. That is usually presented in introduction. The next one that is very important, your materials and methods. That comes under research methodology. What kind of methods, material you are going to use to solve your problem. So this is the very important. The design of your experimental section is very important. The usually design is your pre-formulation studies, optimization, your characterization, and finally you go for results. Whatever findings that is you have observed from your experiments, it's presented in form of your results. And these results are supported by discussion that are based on your obtained results, and you compare with the existing one, and you support with the help of your own statement that is written in form of discussion. And finally, you conclude. That is your outcome. So let me tell you, dear students, your objective and your conclusions should match, because whatever object you have taken initially, and what you're concluding, that should match. And after conclusion, you go for references. That means your sources of study, maybe books, maybe thesis, maybe magazines, maybe publication, research papers, review papers. And this whole paper is supported by infographics for better presentation of your manuscript that is presented in form of tables and figures that gives a very clear picture of your paper. So this is what the structure is. Any question from this structure? Dear students, any question?
Sir, please change the slides.
Is it visible now, Dr. Anjali?
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Okay. Earlier it was not visible what I was talking about sections.
Not visible.
Okay. Any question from this section? Okay. So again, I'm going to emphasize in brief the introduction section. Dear students, always you should look for your problem statement, your hypothesis. That should be framed properly. You should not give a very detailed description here. Rather, it should be restricted to 3 to 4 paragraphs maximum in the introduction section. Now again, after this introduction, materials and methods, your set of procedures, it should be in a structured way. And after the procedures, your results of your hypothesis, finally it should be supported by your discussion. Now I'm coming to the very important point that is usually avoided by the students: plagiarism. So why we should avoid this plagiarized material, and which material is considered as plagiarized one? It is basically defined as to steal and pass off your ideas or words of another. किसी और के idea को copy कर लेना, किसी और के words को copy कर लेना, it comes under plagiarism. You are using the source without giving credit to the inventor one or who has written first time. It also comes under plagiarism. Scientific language में भी हम बात करें, you are committing literary theft, or you are presenting other one idea in your own name. That also comes under plagiarism. But why this plagiarism happens? Even sometimes you are not aware. So there are some basic types of plagiarism. One plagiarism is direct plagiarism. Direct plagiarism means?
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Sir, please change the slide.
But here it is changing, Dr. Anjali. I'm not getting why it is not visible there.
But now it is changed, but prior it was not changed, sir.
Now it is visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible now.
Okay. Direct plagiarism, where you are going for word to word or paragraph copying from others' paper, that comes under direct plagiarism. When you are not changing anything, whole paragraph you have taken, copy paste. Second type of plagiarism is mosaic or patch writing, where you are using some phrases, random phrases you have taken, but it is also plagiarism, mosaic plagiarism. Third one is self-plagiarism. Now, what do you mean by self-plagiarism? Suppose you have published your paper at M.Pharm level. Now you are trying to quote this M.Pharm paper at PhD level. But before using this material, because you are trying to reproduce it, you are going to take another advantage that already you have taken in M.Pharm level. For that, you have to take permission before reproducing with your co-author and the publisher. So this thing is also happens because sometimes you think this is our own work and you go and copy it. So it comes under self-plagiarism. Next one is accidental. Why is it accidental? Sometimes you don't think that the phrase you have taken, the quotation you have taken, but you forget to give the credit to the person who has invented it. So it is accidental. So there are some types of plagiarism. Now, the thing is, what happens if you're going for plagiarism? Let me tell you, dear students, if you're going for plagiarism, I'm talking about the international level, you may be blacklisted from that publisher for a couple of years. Your paper may be retracted. Your guide will be retracted. You may be blacklisted. And if you are working in a government university and based on this publication, if you have taken any benefits, even you may lose your job also. So this was the case study in CSIR. They have published the paper in very reputed journal, but later on, once it came to the knowledge that it is plagiarized one, the papers being retracted from the society, from portal, and the credit they lost and they were blacklisted. So let me tell you, dear students, do not try for this plagiarism. Now, let me tell you what is the current trends in research. This is a common habit. We try to hide our research, but now the time has come. You should go for interactive or collaborative research, interdisciplinary research. Maybe there may be a small piece of work, but it should be justified with the facts, with the data. So nowadays, this is in trend. You should go for collaborative research. Second one, I told you, applied research. That means even government, AICT, CSIR, DST, DBT, the funding agency, they are looking for the project that is giving some impact to the society, that is giving benefit directly to the customers, to the society. It should be applied research. And now it should be technology-enabled research. You might have heard the word artificial intelligence. That is very common, that is prevalent nowadays. AI-enabled research, that is very much used. So not only the conventional research, you should go for technological-driven research, because now it may add to the research, nanotechnology, or the current research, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data analytics. You should take the advantage of all these prevalent or common technologies that are available nowadays. And last one is translational research. It is in demand because as everyone is looking for the patent, and the patent should be commercializable, and the product that should reach to the market. The research should not limit it to the lab only. Until unless it is not transforming from bench to bedside, they're of no use. And one more thing I would like to tell you, if anyone would like to apply for research, so how you should draft your research proposal. So again, let me tell you a few important points. First, more important thing is you have to identify your statement, the problem. So introduction, your research objective, your summary of proposal must be there. Second one is literature survey, your existing one. Whatever literature is available, you have to include it. That too, updated one. Third one is methodology. The problem that you have identified, what methods you are going to plan, that should be mentioned. Preliminary data, it will be better if you have taken the research which already you have conducted at your laboratory level and you have generated few data. If you're going to mention it that I have experienced this research, I have some data with our laboratory. If you're going to include in your research proposal, definitely it will add in value and it will increase your chances of getting funding. Then you go for a statement of limitations. That means whatever problem is there, what are the challenges, what limitation is there, why you're looking for this research, that should be there. And finally, conclusion. Out of your research, what will be the conclusion and what will be the output, whether it will be published, whether it will be patentable, whether it is going to industrial scale or technology transfer. So this is all is required. And this is done. If any question, any doubt is there, I would be very happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for such an informative session. Participants, if you are having any question, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
What criteria for indexing Scopus and UGC care?
Sorry, can you repeat?
What criteria for indexing Scopus and UGC care?
Dr. Anjali, can you repeat? I'm not getting the exact question.
Okay, sir. Actually, she's asking what is the criteria for indexing in UGC care and the Scopus?
You're talking about the general matrix.
Yes, sir.
See, as everyone is looking for the quality research, whenever any journal is going to start, this indexing is based on the quality publication, because you know, every journal, even if you're talking about the Scopus, if you're looking for the Web of Science, some time frame is there. Within this time frame, how many publications are there, how many papers are published by that journal, and the quality. And quality is based on how many persons have cited the work that has been published in that particular journal. So very good question. Let me tell you two more terminology. One is citation. Second one is impact factor. Impact factor is related to the journal, the quality of the publications. And if they are going to maintain that quality and the citation is there continuously and that paper is in demand because for that quality publications, then definitely the impact factor is going to increase. But if I'm talking about the citation, the credit goes to an individual. Whatever work you have done, the research you have carried out, you get the citation. How many researchers are citing your research? So that is why for the Google Scholar citation is there, Research Gate citation is there, Scopus citation is there. So you get the citation from it. Is it clear, beta?
Okay, sir.
Sir, there is one question in the chat box. Sir, kindly brief about the citation and how they are done.
Okay. Citation basically, if I give an example, suppose I'm working in the area of transdermal drug delivery systems. In transdermal drug delivery systems, I have published paper and I have done the research. Now, how many researchers are working in this domain? And if they are going to cite your paper, that means they are quoting because you are also working in this area. So you are using my paper, you are using my reference. So the same paper, how many researchers are going to quote it? For that, one paper, one person has been cited your paper, you will get one citation. So this citation is going to continuously increase. And for the individual paper, and it is my suggestion for every researchers, try to make your one single domain for your research. What usually happening, we take multiple topics. In M.Pharm, different topic. PhD, different topic. While we are doing teaching, we are doing research, different topics. So you are going to leave your domain. So you will not get more citation unless you are going to continue your research in the particular domain. Dr. Anjali, one question was there.
Yes, sir. Sir, if plagiarism is there in our paper, so what is the best method to remove the plagiarism?
See, there are two things. One is, if you really want to avoid the plagiarism from the beginning itself, try to read the paper very carefully. If you're going, I'm going to talk about the research paper, there are very less chances of plagiarism if you have done your own research, because you're going to write in your own style. The data won't be copied because that is generated by yourself only. Usually this plagiarism issues comes in case of review more. Second, in research, if you have copied any photograph without knowing, or I have told you the 4 types of plagiarism. Maybe it may be accidental. Even it may be self-plagiarism. So try to avoid from the beginning, write your own style. Second one is, few softwares are there. Free softwares are there. But these softwares are not having that databases. So it is not going to remove the plagiarism completely. So nowadays, even it is chargeable, you can some softwares like Turnitin or Kund, they have very rich databases. Even the Turnitin is the only software having large databases, but it is chargeable. But with few universities, it is available. So initially, you can take help of free softwares, and with the help of some contacts, and Even paying few nominal amounts, you can remove. Dr. Anjali?
Yes, sir. One more question is there. In India, how much academic research is applicable in pharma industry?
How much academic research is applicable in pharma industry? Very good question. Every time we talk about, there is a gap between academia and industry. I'm sorry, Dr. Anjali. Voice is continuously coming in between. Dr. Anjali?
Yes, sir.
अनिकेत मिश्रा, प्लीज आप साइलेंट रहें.
Okay.
Yes.
So this academic gap, let me tell you very frankly, the percentage is very low. The academic research that is translated in the industry, that is only done in terms of consultancy or collaborative research. So very few institutes are there that they are doing good research and they are having MOU with the industries. So that research is only translated. Otherwise, the percentage is very, very low. And it is just because students are not giving their 100%, and even the lot of pressure is there in academics, because I'm also handling one institute and I can see the number of other duties has to be performed by the faculty members. And for that, if really any faculty is interested in doing research, they have to devote some extra time. During the college hours, only you can perform the college duties. Same with the students. Because if you think that coming at 10 and going back at 4 p.m. and the research will come, dear students, that is only the simple for the dissertation purpose. The research, there will be no output. So it is true that there is a need of fundamental research. There is a need of academic research. That is why nowadays the syllabus is going to change. It is going to unify, because the private colleges, they are bound to the syllabus that is given by the university. Now we are the gap between academic and industry by having some collaborative research. That is why NAC and NBA, they are promoting for MOUs. If you are signing the MOUs with the industry, definitely you are going to perform few research studies.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for investing so much of your time and energy in impactful content.
Sir.
And your lectures are just awesome, and they are thought-provoking and well delivered to us, sir. So thank you for being so generous with your time also. We hope you will consider our events again in future, sir. It's really great to listen to you. Thank you very much, sir, from my side.
Thank you, sir. I am always available. Even after my lecture, any students would like to connect with me for any queries, I would be very happy. Dr. Anjali, you can share my number and you can share my mail ID also.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. The lecture was very fruitful for the upcoming pharmaceutical scientists. Now I request Dr. Geeta Deshwal to present a vote of thanks to our keynote speaker. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Anjali. On behalf of Guru Gobind Singh College of Pharmacy, I would like to thank our speaker of first technical session, Dr. Zenath Iqbal. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time for us. I think it's a need of our topic, sir, because many of budding researchers and faculty members suffer while publishing their research and review paper. And you have described in a very simple way all facts related to research and academic writing. Once again, thank you so much, sir. And I'm sure this lecture will be fruitful for all the participants. Thank you so much, sir.
Can you, Dr. Anjali?
Yes, sir, please. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you, sir. Thank you again.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, dear participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Participants, now it's time for the second technical session by Dr. Zenath Iqbal. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Good to see you after a long time.
Nikita, please mute yourself.
Hello, ma'am. Dear participants, welcome back to the second technical session. And our keynote speaker for the day is Dr. Zenath Iqbal. I welcome you, ma'am. Dr. Zenath Iqbal is a senior teacher working at the Department of Pharmaceutics, School of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Jamia Hamdard. She has been a gold medalist at both UG and PG level and is actively involved in innovating teaching and research. She has published a multitude of research papers in both international and national journals, and she is an active research supervisor with an H index of 32 and I-10 index of 69. Her area of research has been in three main domains like cancer, periodontitis, novel drug delivery system. She has also co-authored 28 books and chapters encompassing nanomedicinal approaches, pharmaceutical technology, and pharmaceutical regulatory affairs. She has co-filed 8 patents, with being one recently granted on exploration of nanotherapeutic intervention for its potential use as an anti-biofilm product. During her teaching career of more than 22 years, she has been involved in imparting quality pharmaceutical education at diploma, undergraduate, postgraduate, and doctorate level, catering to a variety of pharmaceutics-oriented subjects, including pharmaceutical microbiology. She has won a number of awards, including Pharma Ratna Award in the year 2016 for her excellence in academics. She is life member of professional bodies like IPA, IPGA, APA, and NESA. She is also an editorial board member of the International Journal of Advances in Pharmacy, Medicine and Biolife Sciences, and International Journal of Drug Regulatory Affairs. She is a proactive member of the teaching fraternity with the penchant of quality education and research. So it's our pleasure to have such an eminent speaker with us. I welcome you, ma'am. And now it's over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Anjali. In the name of the Almighty, blessings upon all of you. A very, very good afternoon. And thank you so much, Anjali, for giving me this opportunity. As a teacher, I always love to interact with the students, and of course, being with the young colleagues make you feel a little younger. So that is another big advantage of such seminars and lectures and all. Anjali, if you could just help me with understanding what is the composition of the audience and what was the pre-lecture?
Yes,
ahead
ma'am.
of me, what was the topic?
Audience, or we can say the participants are from the different institutions. They are included, MPharm students are there, BPharm final year students,
Okay.
and faculty members from different institutions have joined, ma'am.
Okay, what was the lecture ahead of me?
Yes, ma'am. Prior to your lecture, the lecture was on the research and academic writing.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
so I have chosen a topic which is not very common. It is common, but I have treated it differently. So I think you will allow me to take this risk of putting my opinion across the audience and then introducing them to something, a new thought process, that how research can be. Because I could hear the last couple of sentences by Dr. Dinesh, where he was emphasizing that you have to go a mile more, you have to walk a little more in order to do the research work. It will never happen between 9 to 5, and there has to be an attitudinal change in the students as well as the teacher, so that research can be the best possible way.
It's a pleasure, ma'am, to have you with us.
I will primarily take my presentation from this last dialogue of Dr. Dinesh and maybe just introduce a new concept and a new thought process of how research should be done when we are talking about pharmaceutical research. Dr. Anjali, allow me to, I acknowledge the presence of all the teachers from the Yamuna College of Pharmacy and other of my colleagues. I'm really obliged to be around with you. And please let me know if at all you would have some questions. I would not mind taking up questions in between as well. So allow me to share my screen.
Yeah, ma'am, sure.
Okay, fine. I trust it is visible to you. Is
Yes,
this
ma'am.
clear?
Yes, ma'am. It's absolutely visible.
Okay, fine. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So when we are talking about we are living in 2022, led by a government which is very enthusiastic about pharmaceutical research, particularly after this very monstrous 2 years of COVID. And the government is highly aligned that we should be doing wonders when it comes to pharmaceutical research. The getting of the vaccine in a record time and then helping the Indians to cope up with this disaster is one example of this exemplary leadership in the pharmaceutical sector, and we should be all proud of. We should be proud of being pharmacists. We should be proud of contributing to the research globally, and we should be really thanking and the stars, the nature, and thanks everybody who has helped us to get to this beautiful profession. The requirement of the time is that we have to just break our shackles. अपने जो पुरानी धारणाएं हैं उनको तोड़ के रिसर्च को एक नया आयाम देने की जरूरत है, और आपको थोड़ा सा जरूरत है थोड़ा सा ग्लोबल थॉट प्रोसेस की. हम सब कुछ वही कर रहे हैं जो the whole world is doing. The only difference is that we primarily are not aligned to the terminologies which are floated in the global domain. तो हमारी कोशिश आज ये रहेगी. It will be a little bit of different presentation. It will have two sections primarily. The first section will deal with a new concept of design thinking, which might not be directly applicable to all pharmaceutical branches, but would definitely find with you some sort of understanding. So please allow me to start the presentation. So as I begin, the topic says reimagining the future of pharmaceutical research, a design thinking perspective. So it is high time that we have to reimagine and revisit. I am very sure, though I did not attend the lecture, I'm very sure Dr. Dinesh must have put up new perspectives at how the academic writing has to happen. How do you have to go ahead with the different ways and means by which the research writing should be there? So research writing will only come when we perform good research. So before that, we have to actually start thinking in a very different way. The first thing which I would like to introduce you today is the concept of design thinking. So in a simplest language, when I work as a pharmaceutical researcher or I create some new product, my intention is always and should be that my customer or my patient should feel good about my product. Imagine a person who is diabetic, who has to take 2-3 injections of insulin. He would love a product which is primarily an injectable looking like a pen, which will be painless and which primarily will give him the respite from this deadly disease of diabetes without popping in 100 tablets, without getting the side effects and so on and so forth. So this whole concept of design thinking has risen on this basis only, that what we can do to make our product compliant to the patient, and what can be the research done, and can that product be created immediately, or do we have to think a lot about it when we talk about the research product? So that is primarily the first intention. तो सबसे पहले जरूरत है कि जो मरीज है या जो कस्टमर है आपका, उसकी परेशानी को समझना, उसके साथ एम्पथाइज करना और उसके हिसाब से प्रोडक्ट बनाना. अगर आपने ये कमाल कर लिया तो फार्मेसी will be the one field which primarily will be the foremost runner when it comes to economic growth. अभी भी है, हम लोगों के by God's grace कोई pharmacy sector में recession नहीं आता है. We continuously produce products and they are consumed. The intention is that we should be understanding this concept early. अगर हम इस concept को अपने B Pharm के final year में या उसके पहले या M Pharm के final year में समझ लेंगे, तो हमारे सोच का तरीका global हो जाएगा और हमारे research का outcome बेहतरीन हो जाएगा. Keep this in mind as we go forward in this presentation. So usually, if I simply put it in a very simple way, we ask what can we do to change the things. So that is the job of a pharmacist or a researcher. That question leads us to design, which is the act of changing the existing situations into the preferred ones. So जब भी हम कोई product, ये नया concept तो नहीं है, लेकिन इंडिया में it is now fast catching up, कि कोई भी कंपनी अगर नया प्रोडक्ट लॉन्च करती है तो पहले दौर में मार्केट रिसर्च करवाती है. There is a lot of jobs in this area now for B Pharm and M Pharm people. So they are given surveys, they have to take statistical data analysis, and then they have to find out that what exactly the problem is and how the patient want that problem to be overcome. वो दिन चले गए जब आपका टैबलेट बनाया और पेशेंट बिना आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछे वो 3 बार खा के साइड इफेक्ट झेल के आ गया है। अभी हम उस दौर में हैं जब पेशेंट डिमांड करता है कि इस तरह का प्रोडक्ट बने। तो जब डिमांड हमारी बदल गई है तो हमारा रिसर्च करने का तरीका भी बदलना चाहिए। दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट द डिजाइन थिंकिंग टेल्स यू। अब now the question comes, and this primarily, please bear in mind that this concept which we are discussing is not limited to only research. This can be the way of thinking about the syllabus also. This can be the way by which we can actually do our teaching as well. So it is applicable to education. It is applicable to any field which we are into. So when we talk of a thought process, a research can never happen without discussion, without thinking. So we have different types of thought processes. The first thing which is called as your convergent thinking, and the other thing is called as your divergent thinking. कोशिश करते हैं समझते हैं कि what does it mean? When we are talking about, we normally will be having a group of people who will discuss about a particular topic. तो आप वैसे imagine कर लीजिए, आपके guide हैं, आपके co-lab workers हैं, और आप अपने M.Pharm के project के बारे में decide करना चाह रहे हैं कि किस तरह का project होना चाहिए. You have a whole amount of literature available, you have the problem in your eyes, and you just want to do wonders that how I will create a new product. Just imagine that situation. There will be people in your group who will primarily just keep on giving ideas. He will move from here and there. ऐसा कर लेते हैं सर, अच्छा ऐसा कर लेंगे सर, इसका तो ड्रग का solubility का issue है, तो हम ऐसा ना करें कि इसका transdermal patch बना लें. We can go in for CNS drug delivery also. We can create a topical also. So you are having different types of divergent thought processes, and they primarily keep moving freely from one over the other. And then you keep on giving alternate solution. ऐसा कर लेते हैं, ऐसा कर लेते हैं. So that type of thinking, which is moving up and down, but it is bringing out new ideas, is called as a divergent thinking. इसी process में, then your guide says, नहीं भाई अब सारा focus आपको transdermal पे लगाना है. You have to think about everything in and around the transdermal. तो आपका जो divergent thinking से जो ideas निकले वो आपने इकट्ठा किए, इकट्ठा करने के बाद आपने उसको converge करके एक particular possible solution की तरफ आपका दिशा निर्देशन हो गया. So you are having a concept of divergent thinking, which is also very interesting because people are allowed to think, people are allowed to talk about that topic, and they finally have to focus because ultimately they have to create a product. So the convergent thinking is also very, very important. So we usually have these two types of thinking, which starts a process of research thinking. So there is a primarily different stages of design thinking. अचानक से आप नहीं कर सकते. आप बड़े-बड़े लफ्ज आजकल इस्तेमाल होते हैं कि भाई brain mapping, think mapping. How do we talk about education? Education is simply not giving lecture in today's time. It requires so much of attention. So there are different stages. We begin with the empathy. Define. Let us take them one by one. The first stage is empathy. Empathy एक simple सबसे बड़ा है आपका concept जहाँ पर आप patient के requirements को समझते हैं, सुनते हैं, सूझते हैं, बूझते हैं. You talk about the real needs. For example, there is a patient who is suffering from SLE or a patient who is suffering from autoimmune disease like ataxia. So you can never imagine what could be his problem. So the patient has to be talked out. He has to talk about his history, what are his problems, what are the neurological deficits happening, and then team of experts will use their energy and sort of understanding to get the answers from this patient. So that will create a particular, what we call as a defined area of requirements of the patient and how you understand the feeling and what type of product you would be able to design for him. Then this primarily, as I told you, it will have to have different skills of the patient. For example, if you have pharmacy practice, if you have other pharmacology oriented courses, then there is one section which has to be taken very seriously, that how you would talk to the prospective customer or patient. So you usually have to be having a beginner's mindset. You will build trust, you will ask the problems, you will offer the solutions, you will ask a diabetic patient कि आपको क्या-क्या दिक्कतें होती हैं. आजकल कंपनी specifically peoples को यहाँ पर लेती हैं इस जॉब सेक्शन में कि आप सिंपल काउंसलिंग करोगे पेशेंट की, that what are the problems with our existing product and what type of dream product they wish so that their disease is easily covered. So all these properties or all these attributes are to be borne in mind in the first stage. After that, you define that problem. So you will gather information, analyze, observe, and synthesize, and then finally create a definition. Okay, after discussion, this is the problem which is coming into existence. There will be different ways by which you can do it. This is very simple. I am very sure that you must be doing in routine in your laboratory also. आपके ग्रुप में, आप peer ग्रुप में या टीचर्स के साथ ये जरूर करते हैं, लेकिन नॉर्मली हम उस चीज को स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में नहीं करते हैं. So what we normally should do, we should amplify the good. और जो अच्छाई है उस प्रोडक्ट की या अच्छाई है उस सॉल्यूशन की, उसको एम्पलीफाई करना चाहिए, उसकी कमियों को एलिमिनेट द बैड, एक्सप्लोर द ऑपोजिट, assume questions, talk about it, create a point of view, and use a mapping system so that you are able to understand what type of a problem you are facing and what type of a solution should be offered to the patient. If before research, I am doing this homework and I am creating a particular design of thought processes, then I will be able to deliver a product which is much acceptable and much affordable. So as we go further, so we move to the next stage that is called as your ideate. Ideate is you young people have got imaginable, unimaginable ideas. So these ideation becomes an important aspect of your design thinking. That it should be judgmental free. You should be able to obviously create, reformulate, redefine the existing solutions and have a lot of brainstorming on that. So these are some of the commonest things by which we can do. We should be able to identify the resources, analyze them, amplify the good, and explore the opposite and ask questions to each other. So this is primarily, you can see the flow of thought process. हम जब research के बारे में शुरुआत किया, so we were having so many ideas, but then we converge them, then we have more discussion on that focused area, and then finally the green pathway that we are on the right top. So we can simply keep on thinking and discussing. So we should not enter the laboratory by simply taking a research paper and start working on it कि भाई ये polymers लेना है, ये drug लेना है, इसको mix करना है, इसका transdermal बनाना है. ऐसे कभी नहीं करना चाहिए. We should spend good time to create that particular mahal in the laboratory, that how we can actually design that product and why should it be this way, and what are the problems, what are the unmet needs, what are the gap areas in the research. कोई भी प्रोडक्ट जो अवेलेबल है मार्केट में, उसमें क्या कमियां हैं, हम उनको कैसे उजागर करें, और अपना जो प्रोजेक्ट हमारे जहन में है या दिमाग में है, हम उसको कैसे बेहतरीन से बेहतरीन बना सकते हैं. So this concept normally, I'm very sorry to observe, is not observed and not done and implemented in our laboratories. We usually just take up an idea, your senior is working on some product, you just blindly follow that, and finally you are creating a product which is a me too copy. उसमें कोई फर्क नहीं, फिर publications में दिक्कत आएंगी, फिर बहुत सारी चीजें. तो जो concept हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं समझाने की, ये आपका सिर्फ research पे लागू नहीं है, ये normal routine life की जो आपकी किसी भी मुद्दे पे अगर आप बहस करते हैं, analyze करते हैं, so this is the way you should approach any problem and then offer solutions. As we move forward, once all these 3 steps are there, there will be a point of view. You will have now a focus area, you will have a challenge, and you will have a problem statement. एक बहुत important step है research का, to create a problem statement. हमको यही नहीं पता है कि हम research क्यों करते हैं. Why are we doing it? So any research, be it M.Pharm or PhD, we should formulate a problem statement that this is the problem which is existing. I offer the solution to this problem. Already many products are there in the bazaar, in the market, but they are having different sort of gap areas. So my research will fulfill these gap areas. So I will usually evaluate the competing ideas and then I will make them actionable. So that becomes my specific point of view. It is goal oriented, and I now have my fixed eyes, what to make, how to make, and where to make. So I'm very clear about my research work at this particular stage. So there will be a lot of rules. I am not going into the detail because they're a little bit of managerial, but the concept simply thinks that we have to go through a series of discussions and ideas. Let us try to understand what are the various ways by which we can discuss and finally come to a conclusion. We normally use all these words in our jargon. When your teachers will be teaching, they will tell you, you should brainstorm on this, you should do mind mapping, why are you not creating a storyboard, and so forth. So these are modern tools which are now applicable in various pharmaceutical, automobile, any industry, education, any industry for that matter. So the first step is that we go in for a brainstorming session where we have continuous concerted efforts to find conclusion for a specific problem. So we will discuss the problem. This is the disease I have selected. This is the drug I have selected. This is the parameters which are available. These are the problems which I have found in the literature which should be overcome. We will do this now. Sir, we can do this. It has got first pass hepatic metabolism. So we will just do something so that this first pass hepatic metabolism are overcome. So we will not give this drug orally. Then we have another question, whether this drug will be suitable for transdermal or topical or mucosal delivery. Then we have answers to this question based on our information and knowledge, which we already have or which we will get from different sources. The next thing after brainstorming is body storming. This primarily is also basically a brainstorming, but it is imagining the product as if it existed. So it helps me, it is made by some digital prototyping. You people of today's generation, you are very good in computers. This pandemic of 2 years have made you better in computers. So whatever I have, so if a student is presenting and he also presents an animated picture that this is the way my drug delivery system will be used, this is the way the patient will interact with their drug delivery system, all these things will make the product much user friendly. And if I can imagine, so I always tell my students, just shut your eyes and imagine that where your product will enter, what will be the biofate. If you are wanting to create an anti-tumor drug delivery system, it is so complex to even think, but please shut your eyes and find out where it will land and how it will act. Then I can use the tools of sketching, that how I can actually create the ideas and Asahoka flow charting. Then we can use the mind mapping, which is a visual ideation and which helps you to draw connection between different set of ideas. Then finally you move on to the storyboarding, which we can develop a visual story that how this work and how it can be assumed. So if I'm a startup and if I want to attract what we call as your sort of angel investor or investments for that matter, so I will have to create a storyboard that this is the problem in the pandemic area, the immunology system is compromised. So I am creating a system which will give you immunomodulators in the form of a tea. So that becomes my story. So I will create research perspectives and put them in a beautiful way so that people who will be benefiting by that get the outcome. Then we will have the challenge assumptions. We will break the conventional thought patterns. So whatever traditionally the systems are available, we will break ourselves from that Khandani type of systems which are available, and we will put forward something new. We assume that there is a challenge and we give an answer to that challenge. So as we move further, we go in for the next stage, which is called as prototyping. सब लोग समझते हैं what prototype is, कि जो आपका system है, अगर आपको दिखाना है, तो मेरा ये pump इस तरह से काम करेगा. I have created something to help the handicapped people. It will work this way. I have created a patch which will deliver the drug in this way, for example. Because the concepts are same, we will have to draw, like in quality assurance, the concept are applicable to all industries, but we make it suitable for pharmaceutical industry. Similarly, the design connection is common to all of us. We will have to take out as per our requirement of pharmaceutical research. So in our case, we will have a prototype of vaccine, for example. We can have a prototype of any pump-based drug delivery or any novel drug delivery system. So we will create a prototype which can be then delivered, shown, and sometimes even used by the stakeholders, and they will give you. For example, there is a concept of the menstrual cup. So normally when a woman menstruates, she usually goes in for sanitary pads or very commonly available things or tampons. Nobody, we did a small survey on this. So nobody used the menstrual cup, which are much cheaper and which can be used for long duration of time. The reason is we do not have much research into this area. We have not created much research prototypes and people are not aware of it. So this prototyping actually helps you to convert your idea into a prototype product, which can then be tested, and the testing becomes the last stage. So we will test the product, that how it works, what are the various concepts it is taking care of, and so on and so forth. So we normally will be testing in a very flow chart. Everything is now computerized, algorithmic based. Nobody does a hit and trial because a lot of money is involved. So we usually allow the prototype to speak. We will remain open-minded. We will be thankful for that discovery. And we make sure that there is a huge user experience and then we get the feedback. So once this concept is done, I am in a position to create a product which will go long way. If you people must have seen these episodes of Shark Tank, so they would make a pitch statement. They might sometimes show their product, even if it is not in the market. And they will try to impress the investors that what I can do. And that is exactly what has to be done in pharmaceutical research as well. We cannot remain in isolation. We should be doing absolutely the same where the other industries are going much ahead of us. I trust I've been able to communicate and you people are able to understand some bit of it. I would request if I can get a response. Samajh aa raha hai, beta? And I'm particularly asking the students.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am is very important, beta. That keeps us going. So as we move further, so what we have concluded now, that we have to go in for a human-centered or a user-centered approach for innovations. And then we have to integrate the possible technologies in order to also get a product which is sustainable, because at the end, I would also like to earn money. I cannot simply do it on a social level. So kindly keep these things in mind whenever you are creating a research project, whenever you are thinking about, whenever you are discussing with your mentors, that how exactly you cannot just one day enter into the lab and start working. You have to do a lot of reading, beta. You have to do a lot of literature review. What is happening? And also imagine further that what can be done if 5 years down the line this bimari continues and I have to create a product. This COVID must have taught us many, many lessons. We should be mentally prepared. God forbid, if anything like this happens again, what are the means by which the research can help us? So that type of visualization is very important at this young age. So let us talk about what the need of design thinking is. I have been telling it to you. Let us just very quickly summarize it. So normally, whenever we will talk of the possibility of design thinking in pharma sector, we usually will talk about the patient-centric approach. So we will try to go in for a market research, what to sell, who to sell, what are the market segments, what are the high-level user info. Then maybe based on this, we'll do a lot of brainstorming and then bring into existence the experience research. How should the product work? What is the workflow? Does a design align with expectations and immersion with the users? Any pharmaceutical industry which will follow this trajectory, वो अपने मरीज के साथ continuous touch में रहेगी. अभी Eli Lilly जैसी companies, Bristol Myers Squibb जैसी companies, they have created a separate zone for this. That whatever products are there in the market, they spend so much of money in the research. So they are in continuous touch with the key opinion leaders for the doctors, and they are also continuously talking to the patients that whether they are satisfied with the product or not. Imagine if this happens with most of our pharmaceutical products, our research will get a direction and we will only work on products which are absolutely patient usable. We will unnecessarily not waste our energy in academic type of research, which only goes into theses and research papers. So that is the reason that today's generation, which you people constitute, should be open to all these types of newer ideas and maybe train yourselves to think this way so that you are able to use your capacities to give a better research experience. So I will just take very quickly some examples, which are the concept design thinking based concept and how they have changed the whole scenario of the production in pharmaceutical sector. So this is one of the very commonest thing called as a pill pack. This pill pack was started as early as 2018. And this was primarily a software driven thing where it served the people who have to have multiple medications. Imagine a diabetic patient with hypertension, with kidney problem, with XYZ, so many problems, and he has to take 10 tablets together after 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Unimaginable, painful experience for a patient. They were able to design a platform where they could create and alert the patient by timing and also refilling, and by using the normal technologies, they were able to help the patient. So this became a big rage, and a lot of people even currently use this product. Then we have a concept of patient like me. These are very common for pharmacovigilance people, or they're very common for people and students who are interested in pharmacy practice. This usually, when we talk of clinical research, one big area. So normally you just imagine that they have created a platform where you will have the commonality क्या है इन सब लोगों में, that they suffer from the same disease and they are undergoing the clinical trials. So they have joined this group and the whole community has come up. So any clinical trial outcomes are shared and they are able to find out whether they want to participate in that clinical trial and so on and so forth. This was done by Shire Pharmaceuticals and this is a huge success because you are going to talk to the patient. It is very similar to creating groups of people, God forbid, whose children are suffering from autism or diabetes ka ek club bana lijiye, for example. So they understand their problem better. And this will not only be the patients, but you will have experienced doctors, pharmacists, everybody who will share the experience. So these types of platforms are something which we called as your based on the design thinking. Then creation of this simple product, which was created by virtue of using the 3D printing. 3D printing is again a new thing, that you are designing the product according to the requirement of the patient. So this also brings into context the precision medicine, which is again a concept where I understand what will be the customized requirement of my patient. So just imagine that you are having a simple sort of prosthetic called like Endiamo is a name. It is a mobile design which is non-invasive and which is used for children who are having huge disabilities. So this has, if it was made generically, then nobody would have liked it. But it is so customized that every patient gets the outcome. So these are some of the examples. They can be extended to other research areas, not limited to medical devices, not limited to simply product which is sort of your insulin pen, but you can actually visualize all the products which we create in the laboratory to be based on the design thinking. I hope I have been able to convey the concept of design thinking and how it helps you to create a research phenomenon. So the question comes, can design thinking be applied to pharmaceutical research? The answer is yes, it can be utilized. Nobody stops us to use this concept of design thinking to create better and better pharmaceutical research products. But it does not actually always talk about the statistical tools. So we should not mix up this design thinking with the design of experiments in that way. Design of experiments will be used as a tool to give us a design thought product. So these are interchangeable, they are not interchangeable, but they can be complementary to each other. So I design a project where I will use design tools which are statistically driven and everything is amalgamated together. In today's time, when we were researchers in MPharm or PhD, most of the time we did hit and try. We created a formula. Sometimes we will increase the lactose. If the rate release has to be increased or decreased, we will reduce the lactose, increase the polymer concentration. The drug concentration has to be same. And we used to play. The outcome was we used to make 300, 400 formulations, out of which 280 were useless. So in today's time, you people are so lucky that there's so much of innovation in the statistical tools like design of experiments and all, which will give you a concept of making a product which is robust and rigorous. So that is the only thing which is required in today's time, beta, is that how do we amalgamate this information and knowledge? Bhara pada hai knowledge. Information का storm है, नॉलेज का स्टॉर्म है, आंधी है पूरे इंटरनेट पे, लेकिन हमारे काम की क्या चीजें हैं उनको एक साथ रख के और एक मॉडर्न पर्सपेक्टिव में अगर हम लोग कर लें, so we can do magic, which we still do, but the level will be much higher and acceptable. So that is the reason I thought that I will introduce these concepts to you so that you start talking about them, thinking about them, and maybe utilize in your job profiles or maybe utilize it in your research and whatever way you can benefit. As we go, so I say that the story begins now. When I understand about the thinking process and everything, then only I can be a person or a scientist who will help in drug discovery, development, and everything. So you have a lot of grit, you have to spend a lot of time in hard work, you have to be the best scientist, investments, so many questions and answer is there, but that is exactly what is challenging to us. And we will amalgamate everything into this beautiful journey of drug discovery and development. This slide is very close to my heart. This actually makes me proud that how from beginning of the naturally and available products, which primarily must have used years and years together in the past, I take out scientifically driven products, go in for a lot of high throughput screening, spend 3 to 6 years, get into preclinical, create, just imagine from 5,000 to 10,000 molecules, I get just 250 molecules which are fit for the animal studies. Then I select do all my animal studies, go in for so much rigorous, good laboratory practices and many, many more things. And then only I get 5 products which are spent in the clinical trials. And imagine, after so much of hard work of another 6 to 7 years, I normally get only 1 product which is approved. So this product becomes very close to my heart. I will make it a brand. I will try to learn money from this. I will try to take a lot of research ideas and then maybe pull another money into it, pull back another money. That is my proprietary products are also expensive. But this is the cycle which keeps me going as a researcher, as a scientist. You people, and after MPharm and PhD and so forth, will keep on delivering your goodness to each of these stages and make this process a dynamic one, resulting in more and more approved drugs. Imagine that we were able to pass this period in such a swift way, and within less than 1 year, we were able to deliver an approved vaccines. Not only 1, 2, 3, 4, which are Indian-made products. So this is the type of hard work which we go. And then this primarily is just an sort of a little bit of elaboration of the previous slide, where you now understand that what are the various stages. Our knowledge level when we start our research is so low, and as we keep on going on, our knowledge level keeps on increasing. Imagine that we are making it more rigorous by design thinking process, so our delivery of the products will be faster, our robustness of the products will be faster, and we can reduce this long pathway to a small pathway if we talk of the design thinking perspective. So we have done so much of research already in advance that when we enter into our lab, we have to spend only little time and get the best product. So that is the thing which is to be now understood by the young generation, that how we can actually amalgamate and bring together the traditional knowledge and the modern tools so that we get the best possible product. As we move further, this again a slide, I think we can skip this. So this is again a self-made slide. This is one of my very favorite slides, where all the students can relate to the fact that how we move from the traditional systems, which has got a lot of limitations, and then primarily move to the control systems because they overcome the problems of patient compliance, frequency of dosing, and then we create the control release system, which is once a day or twice a day. And we have got enteric coated, we have got inhalable products, sprays, etc. We have moved further to create the microsystems. We have created trans gels. We have created gels which are having the capacity of delivering the painkillers in just a matter of 15 minutes. And we have reached to a very advanced stage of this nowadays, where we have a lot of nanomedicine research going on. I would request to please switch off your microphone. Kindly switch off your microphone, beta, or anyone who is there. Thank you. Again, I will connect one more thing. ये बीच में एक slide हमने डाली just to break your thought process. आप 2022 में हो, 2030 तक Sustainable Development Goals जो हैं of the UN, the Government of India has signed that we are going to align with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and by 2030 we are going to be 100% sure that we will contribute to the 3rd SDG goal, that is good health and well-being, which will ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. This slide I have deliberately put in between to break your thought process. So when we talk about the sustainable, what do I contribute as a scientist? The capsules, tablets, what do I contribute? The vaccines and all? But I am not only contributing these immediate need products, we are also contributing a continuous mechanism by which I will maintain the universal health as a pharmacist, and we continuously do research in order to develop better and better products, which will become. So sustainable development goal, you may just search in the YouTube that it is directly connected to the research in the nanomedicine. Because by creating nanomedicines, I am reducing the antimicrobial resistance. By creating nanomedicine, I am reducing the chances of the death by cancer. I am making targeted drug delivery system, which will give patient outcomes which are sustainable and which can be taken forward for many years together. So I am a researcher, a pharmaceutical scientist who is contributing not only to the immediate release of the patient, but we are also helping patients who are suffering from chronic diseases, considering that we are contributing to the health of the world or global contribution. So kindly make yourself aware of what SDG is all about. and how as a pharmaceutical scientist you can contribute to this goal. There are a lot of avenues where you can combine this goal and make products which are sustainable. Imagine that you can create a herbal based tea which will be having the goodness of all the immunomodulators, and you can directly relate to the SDG because you are contributing that to the wellness of a particular patient. So that is exactly how we have to be opening up a mind. Now again, come back, that was a break for you. So now coming to what all drug delivery systems are there and how all these things which we have discussed can be put into discovering and design of this NDDS system. So when I primarily talk of the novel drug delivery system, this usually, there's so many things, and I was enamored when I was a student, when I used to see these transdermal patches. There was no internet at that time, but when our professors talked about these types of drug delivery system in the classes, I used to be very enamored. And I used to respect my own self and the researchers so much that how we are making the life of patients so easy by simply taking up this novel drug delivery system concept. Just simply feel it. You have a patient who is suffering from cancer, a lot of pain. The person is not able to eat properly, take the tablet properly. Then you create a lollipop, which can be just Organizers, may I request you to please look into this and maybe switch off the microphones at your end.
Sure.
I trust my voice is reaching.
Yes, ma'am. We are just muting all the participants.
Please.
मैडम से बात नहीं मिलेगी.
Thank you. So I was just trying to impress upon the audience here that just imagine that a cancer patient, जब वो कीमोथेरेपी होती है तो हलक में उनके इतने लीजन्स हो जाते हैं, नॉर्मल टैबलेट वो खा ही नहीं सकता. अब आप उसके लिए क्या एक ऐसा प्रोडक्ट डिजाइन कर सकते हो which can take care of the pain, but yet he is not having that pain of swallowing. Imagine creating a lollipop. So you are simply putting a lollipop which can be just licked, and you are having the drugs like fentanyl citrate, meconazole, hyoscyamine in this lollipop. This meconazole is an antifungal agent. Fentanyl citrate, you understand, is a painkiller. So you simply make a transbuccal drug delivery, everything designed well and becomes patient compliant. Then you have a transdermal patch. We have understood there are a variety of ways by these patches can be made. Imagine it to be working for a diabetic patient, for a contraception, for many other things, nicotine patches. So just imagine the design thought process, what it can really do wonders to the health of the patient. Subcutaneous implant, where you can just simply put it in subcutaneous region and you have got a contraception for years together. Microcapsule, a capsule you must have seen in routine way. Beautiful colored pellets. Each one is having different types of sizes. So when this color is there, it is not for the love of the color, but we know that the green color might be sustained release, the white color is immediate release. One is having one type of product. So you have taken all the vitamins together, made different pellets and filled into one capsule, and you make a multivitamin capsule, multivitamin tablet. The concept, or for that matter, any other drug. The concept is that they will distribute all over the stomach, absorption will be very quick, and you will get a large bioavailability. So these are some of the things which are innovative thought processes. We thought about the limitations of the traditional medicine and created such wonderful drug delivery system. Chronotherapeutic system is again a beautiful concept where the requirement of the patients were understood and then created these types of drug delivery system. Imagine a patient suffering from congestive heart failure, और पेशेंट सफरिंग फ्रॉम एस्थमा, और पेशेंट सफरिंग फ्रॉम आर्थराइटिस. ये तीनों बीमारियां ऐसी हैं कि जो साइंटिफिकली प्रूवन है कि इनका जो सबसे ज्यादा दुखद टाइम होता है या परेशानी का टाइम होता है पेशेंट के लिए, वो अर्ली मॉर्निंग होता है. अक्सर करके हार्ट अटैक आपके सुबह के समय में होते हैं. एस्थमेटिक अटैक भी 2 और 4 के बीच में होते हैं. और आर्थराइटिस का सबसे ज्यादा असर तब होता है जब मरीज बिस्तर से उठता है और वो अपना पैर नहीं टिका पाता. Imagine these are the problems which we understood. As a scientist, what we have designed, we designed a chronotherapeutic system. मरीज सोने से पहले वो दवाई लेगा, लेने के पश्चात जब वो सपाइन पोजीशन में होगा वो दवाई धीरे धीरे स्टमक में रहेगी, स्टमक में होने के बाद वो स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन में पहुंचेगी और स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन में हमारे वो एंजाइम्स होंगे जो उनको एंटेरिक कोट किया होगा, तो वो पॉलीमर को डिस्ट्रॉय करके इमीडिएटली रिलीज करेगा ड्रग को। और जब 4 और 5 बजे का सुबह का टाइम होगा, उस टाइम में ड्रग सबसे ज्यादा एब्जॉर्ब होगी और आपके ब्लड में हाईएस्ट कंसंट्रेशन Cmax होगा, एंड द पेशेंट either number 1 he will not get the attack of asthma or heart, or he will have a minor effect, and you are giving a time delivered or time controlled therapeutic system. The arthritis patient will get the highest level of drug early morning, so when he or she, जो आपके बाबा बड़े बूढ़े जितने लोग भी हैं, बड़ी तकलीफ होती है उनको कि सुबह उठ के पैर नहीं टिका पाते, अब वो मसला आपका सॉल्व हो गया, क्योंकि आपने ड्रग को इस तरह से डिजाइन किया कि उसकी डिलीवरी मैक्सिमम कब हो रही है, जब बीमारी का अटैक सबसे ज्यादा है. So you have got the maximum amount of drug in the early hours of the morning, and you get best cure possible, and the patient is very happy because the attack of the disease is not there in the early hours. Because it is time controlled, so we call this as a chronotherapeutic system. What a beautiful way of using the design concept. Then you have site-specific delivery. We are now aware the advancement has happened so much that we know that where do we want the drug to be the maximum delivered? Where is the disease? So we have the H. pylori infection, which is always in the proximal part of the intestine. So we will design the system in a manner. Just see the design. So if the traditional system increase in drug level and then finally decrease, but in the enteric coated or enhanced release, what we are doing, we are making a plateau type of thing, and the drug is available for a longish period of time and more so on the area where it is desired. So that type of site-specific delivery we have been able to create. This is a beautiful ode to the pharmaceutical research, that we have to treat this solid tumor. We have created a magnetic nanoparticles which is being driven to the IV route. It goes into the system and primarily goes into the blood circulation. Everywhere it will go. It is going to every part of the body, and very less to the solid tumor, not staying there because of the continuous circulation system. What we do is that we make a proper field from outside the body. We create a magnetic field from outside the body. So all the nanoparticles, because they had some ferrous material, they will be now stopped in the tumor, and it will not be going into the other parts of the body, and hence there will not be any side effects or very minimal side effects. So what can be the best way to treat is that I create a nanoparticle which was having some magnetite material, and from outside the body I modulated the magnetic field, and I'm able to deliver the drug indirectly into the tumor for a long period of time. Then as we move further, we are primarily... Hello, sir. I was in a class. That is why I'm not able to take your call. Once my class is over, I'll get back to you, sir. Thank you so much. So as we are primarily thinking, we are able to design the system in such a manner that the best outcome. एंटी-कैंसर ड्रग का सबसे बड़ा मसला क्या होता है कि बीमारी से इंसान नहीं मरता, साइड इफेक्ट्स इतने भयंकर होते हैं. तो हमने इस तरह का डिलीवरी सिस्टम बना के साइड इफेक्ट्स को बहुत हद तक कम कर दिया या काफी हद तक खत्म कर दिया. So this is the way. If I design the system, I am sure that I am going to deliver a sustainable development goal of good health to most of the cancer patients. So that's the way I will use my research. I will not go in for a traditional research where I will make a microsphere, but I don't know how it works. So this is the new way of thought processes which we have to bring into understanding. So we have a lot of research which is working. I think keeping the time in, I think I've just got more 20 minutes more. I'll try to wrap it up. So the idea is too that we have to make use of as many as new research tools available so that we can have a robust and a dependable product design. I hope I have been able to communicate. समझ आ रही हैं चीजें बेटा? Particularly the students?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. So as we move further, so there's a lot of statistical designs available. I'm not an expert on it, but being a pharmaceutical researcher, I often use these tools. They're all available to us. They have got their different limitations, different uses. And I think this workshop is primarily to understand these types of tools. So we have got a concept of design of experiments. Whatever we have talked up to now, when it has to come into execution, जब आप उसको बनाना शुरू करोगे तो ये सब चीजें जो आपने सोची समझी उनको नजर में रख के हमको कोई ना कोई एक ऐसा सिस्टम बनाना है, हिट एंड ट्रायल से तो कर नहीं सकते। तो हमारे पास एक पर्टिकुलर ग्रुप ऑफ डिजाइन ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स है जिनको हमने कंप्यूटर एडेड, they are all computer aided, and now we are able to get away from the hit and trial and exactly deliver what we want to deliver. So these some of the tools are available in the market where we know what will be our input factors, what will be the process, and what would be the responses. So this is the basic concept कि आपको पता है जब आप x और y ग्राफ बनाते हो, x एक्सिस पे आपका रहता है जो चीज आपके काबू में है, जिसको हम कहते हैं इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल, और y एक्सिस पे रहता है जो उनके ऊपर निर्भर है, जिनको हम डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल कहते हैं। सिंपल सी आप समझने के लिए ये कर सकते हैं कि अगर आपको पता है कि 5%, 10%, 12% कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ पॉलीमर से हमें साइज पे असर देखना है कि पार्टिकल साइज बढ़ेगा या घटेगा, तो आपका इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल हो गया कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ द पॉलीमर, और आपका डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल वाई एक्सिस पे हो गया योर अमाउंट साइज ऑफ दैट पार्टिकल. सो आई कैन कीप ऑन प्लेइंग विद दिस, इंक्रीज द पॉलीमर, find out till I get the optimized size, which particle size I actually want. So for tumor, I want something between 100 to 200. For anything which is to be delivered further, I might need a particle size to brain delivery between 40 to 100 nanometers. So the polymers more or less they remain same. There will be techniques which will be similar. So I will have to just put them and amalgamate them together so that I get the best relationship and I get the best outcome and the optimized parameter. So we have got different factorial designs. These are all available. They are for first 1 month, I think most of them can be freely used, and I'm sure that your college must be having these facilities. So we have different types of factorial designs which can be used depending on what your selection of your parameters are, what type of formulation you want to make. This is all subjective. They have to be taken care depending on what is my final intention. So I keep on doing this thing as we go ahead. Hello. अभी हम थोड़ी देर में बात करेंगे, थोड़ा सा में थे लेक्चर में. I'm sorry for this because it was an important call. So when we talk of all these mixture design, response surface methodology and all, there are a lot of availability which are present there, which are in the literature domain, and most of the researchers use all these tools. This is just an impression, a slide which will help you understand, just a summation, that there are a lot of authors who have been working for so many years, and in the last 2 decades the number of people have increased. You can just take an example that they selected an experimental design wherein primarily they wanted to show the effect of a surfactant in order to make an emulsion phase solubility. So then they had another design where the concentration of a drug was taken as the independent variable, and we wanted to find out that what is the effect of the concentration on the microbial curves. So my idea is to make you understand that we have to first think about what are my independent variables जो मेरे खुद के काबू में as a researcher, and what will be the effect on my dependent variables, what I actually want in my formulation. Most of the time I will do a 2 factorial design to see the effect of my oil and amount of surfactant, amount of co-surfactant on the globule size, on the equilibrium solubility, on the zeta potential, and so on and so forth. So I have to actually create that blueprint in my mind before executing it, that how do we go about it. Unnecessarily, we should not go in for the hit and trial thing. So we have different concepts of quality by design. 6th semester quality assurance introduces you to a lot of concepts of QBD. We have studied the ICH guidelines. They talk about the quality by design, where we do not do hit and trial, but we are looking forward to designing a quality target product profile, or QTPP. So we know what type of product we have to do. The background comes from the already existing products. We will identify the different process parameters. We will do the risk assessment at every stage, and finally create a product which is the best possible and having the critical quality attributes and having the best possible QTPP. QTPP का simple भाषा में ये समझना है कि आपको product के अंदर जो जो attributes चाहिए, अगर एक lipstick बना रहे हो, for example commonest, so it should be easily spreadable, the color should not smudge, it should be cheap on the pocket, that is another parameter, it should not irritate the lips, there should not be toxicity. Everything which you want in that product, you put it on a paper, and then you start designing a particular algorithmic stepwise procedure, that how at every stage I will ensure that the material which I select, the processes which I select are aligned to give me the best possible QPPP. So that is the basic understanding of the risk. I'm sorry, there's something missed out here. So this is a concept of the risk assessment, that how this risk management tools are to be done. So I will have to identify the risks. ये simple भाषा में आप बात करें तो this is simply helping us to understand that what are the ways I can reduce the risks and make my product best. हमारे पास उतना टाइम नहीं है, हमारे पास पैसा उतना नहीं है कि हम बड़े बड़े डिसीजंस लेके प्रोडक्ट के मैन्युफैक्चरिंग के टाइम में गलतियां करें और फाइनली हमारा प्रोडक्ट खराब हो जाए. तो वही चीज अब इस वक्त क्या है कि वही चीज जो इंडस्ट्री कर रही है, हमको वही आदत अपने लैब में भी डालनी है. Because we are not having enough polymers, we are not having enough resources. So let us first try to brainstorm and create a mechanism by which I can use my resources to the fullest. So this is basically, this is basically what all this design concept talks about. So let us see, we are talking about the nanoparticle system. So I will talk about the product quality. I have to take care of the consumer safety, based on which I will design a quality target product profile. I will create the critical quality attributes. I will look forward to what are the parameters which are important. For nanoparticle, particle size is important. Zeta potential, very important. Entrapment, essential. So these three I am taking as my dependent parameters, and I'm taking the other critical attributes as well. And then I keep playing here and there with the polymers to get the best possible particle size, best possible zeta potential. Then I put everything into a design space where I know the critical material attributes and critical process parameters and put them together based on my knowledge of all these things in the past and get a finished product which is of the highest quality. This is applicable to each and every type of product, be it nanomedicine, be it major product, micro product, any product for that matter. So we have now, from the QBD, we have now taken up the formulation by design. So just the same thing, but we are now more concentrated on the formulation, what will the parameters which we will use and how we get the best possible drug delivery system. Again, just for your reference, there are different types of drug delivery systems, different drugs which have been used, the factors which have been used, and there's a lot of papers and which designs here. They're all, everything is from the literature review. I've just compiled it together. Then we have another concept of the process analytical technique. Any formulation, any pharmaceutical product cannot be getting an approval from the regulatory body if we do not have proper analytical techniques. So primarily we have to create a framework of analytical techniques which will accommodate the regulatory requirement and how my drug can be used for the best possible quality. What will analytical technique not only for the product but for the finished product as well, for the packaging, for any behavior of that particular formulation. So I have to take care of the existing PAT techniques which are available to me. So these are basically, this slide is a teaser slide which will help you to understand that when we talk of the process analytical technique, it has to take care of the regulatory framework, manufacturing science, chemistry, industrial pharmacy, formulation, everything has to be taken care if I have to deliver a product which is of the highest quality. From next onwards, from this onwards, I'll just take you through the type of work which we are doing in the laboratory and how we have tried to use all these design of experiments to create our own formulations. So the first work we did was on Nano Potentiation, a herbal product, how the propolis, which is obtained from beeswax, and we tried to create, we sort of standardize this product using different techniques and finally created an ethosomal drug delivery systems and did in vivo studies to find out that whether it is having the capacity of reducing the effect and becoming a chemoprotective agent. So we had published this work. All the work which I'm sharing is a published work. You can get a feel of it. So similarly, so this design of experiments and everything is applicable to any drug, whether it is a synthetic drug and all. In this case, this is a very interesting work which we did. And our student Sabenta is from African country. There is this African potato which they use very commonly. Jimikand jaisa hota hai. So we got them from Africa and then we did an extraction. Extraction was done based on the various design of experiments, and then it was not a hidden trial. Then we got this extract. This extract we converted into, we assessed it for different parameters, and finally we made it into an ethosomal drug delivery systems. At every stage we had to standardize. For every stage we had to use a different quality-based design sort of technologies. We used the CCD and many other things. Most of the things we did not reveal in the paper, But the idea was to just take the raw material and finally convert it into a modern formulation. The other works we did was on the anti-infective agents for the E, and there's a lot of variety of works we did on CNS activity and all. Solid lipid particles for, we created this endrographolide, which is an anti-cancer agent, and we use it to create an SLN system based on all the quality-based design systems, and we did a work for the oral delivery. The area which we're now working on is another very interesting area of vaginal infections. So again, before we started, we did a survey in the patients that what is the type of patients and what types of problems, gynecological problems women are facing. So one of the things which we came out was that this disease of candidal vulvogenitis is very common in India. Not only premenopausal women, but young girls are also suffering from it. So we designed a project trajectory, which was mucoadhesive multiparticulate, and which could be given through the vaginal route non-invasively and primarily result in a sustained drug delivery of that antifungal agent for a long period of time. It was able to overcome the recurrent issue of this disease, because Candida used to just go inside and deep in the subcutaneous region. It will just stay there for a long period of time. आप एप्लीकेशन करते हो 3-4 दिन के बाद आपको लगता है सब ठीक है, थोड़े दिन के बाद फिर दोबारा वो रिकर हो जाता है. So we were trying to create a system which would remain there for a long period of time. So we prepared SLN for this. Different methods we used, what were the applications of BPT we did, and we found out what are the independent and dependent variables, and we decided a system. The effect of different factors was understood, and we took the 3D responses and found out what is the effect on the particle size, effect on the entrapment efficiency of the fluconazole, the drug which we had selected, what were the predicted values. And you will be happy to know that the prediction was so good by the software that we were able to get absolutely the similar type of formulation in very less period of time. So that is the beauty of using a statistical design system. We were able to see the effect on the particle size, the PDI. I will be skipping some of the things because of the paucity of the time, but the outcome is that we were able to get a optimized drug delivery system, which was having an efficient entrapment efficiency of as high as 81%. So this we got published very soon in a very good journal of a high impact factor. Then first we also published the medical hypothesis. So simultaneously we were able to publish a hypothesis and also the outcomes of this research work. Another area which we were working is in the wound area. Again, we got the information that what are the limitations of healing a wound. We have the problems of diabetic patients who have got very poorly healing wound, how we can use curcumin, and how we can use a basically functional excipient like chitosan to get a nanoemulsion gel, and how we were able to show the outcomes in the case of the animal studies as well. Then another area of periodontal infections we have been thinking about, we are trying to find out various types of problems which are associated with the periodontal disease. We did a good literature review on this, and finally we found out that there's so many factors which are working in a disease as simple as a periodontal infection. Then we created a system of drug delivery which was primarily having all the concepts. So we first talked about the disease. The previous slides which I've skipped as are talking about the disease. What is the requirement of the disease treatment? So based on all that thing, we created an investigation of a low drug delivery system. So you have the periodontal pocket here. It has got problems of infection, inflammation, bone loss, tooth loss. So we provided a treatment all in all. So we had a drug delivery system which was multi-component, which was having an antibiotic, anti-inflammatory, osteogenic agent. And then we created a system and we tested in the rat model and found out that this was very suitable to treat this disease. So रामबाण इलाज आपका एक ड्रग डिलीवरी सिस्टम बना लो जिसके अंदर आपके 4 सिम्टम्स को आप कंट्रोल कर सकते हो. अल्टीमेटली यू हैव अ लो economically driven product which will be giving you much better outcomes. So that is primarily because we took care of the disease, understood the statistics, what were the requirement of the patient, and so on and so forth. So we got this paper published in another high impact journal. Then we have another paper which was primarily from this area only. Then we had another third paper in this area where we used the hydroxyapatite, which is again a very common thing which is to be used for the periodontal infection. So ये normally dentists use करते हैं, तो हमने इसी को base बना लिया अपने microsphere formulation के साथ interact करा के, and we had a double win-win situation. So this will help in bone resorption, and it will also have an antibiotic drug like doxycycline, which will keep on taking care of the infection which is present there. Then the lot of problems of the infection is because of the presence of the biofilm. So आपका जो plaque जम जाता है उसके अंदर बहुत सारे microbes होते हैं जो disease धीरे धीरे पूरे dentine structure को बर्बाद कर देते हैं. So we took care of this and we thought that how we can get rid of this biofilm. So we created a system which was primarily helping to remove these microorganisms, and then it was much effective. So this is a beautiful way of making a nano formulation which will now act as a, क्या होता है कि आपका आज के टाइम में जो biofilm formation की वजह से antibiotic bacteria के अंदर तक नहीं पहुंच पाते. So what we did a formulation which could break this biofilm, and the antibiotic in low doses could go and attack the bacteria, and the outcome was clearing of that infection. So that is the idea which we published in this paper, and luckily we also got a patent granted in just record 364 days. So we created nanofibers on this, all of sort of transition images you can see here. We did the antibacterial studies, and by zone of inhibition you can see that how the E. coli, Enterococcus faecalis, which is a very stubborn bacteria, we were able to just kill them by using the nanofibers, and the zone of inhibitions and the other characterizing parameters were done. So we are still continuing this journey. We are working in these 4 areas, and I'm sure that there's a long way which we have to take. As Robert Frost normally said in his poetry, that woods are lovely, dark and deep. I have miles to go before I sleep. I have miles to go before I sleep. So as a researcher, you have to really keep on walking a distance, which is very difficult. And I end my presentation with a thank you to all the organizers and for very patient listening from the students, teachers, and all my worthy colleagues. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an informative session.
Thank you, Dr. Anjali, for having such a eloquent, empowering, and kind speaker on our platform. Dr. Iqbal, I must mention you are a remarkable by every reasonable standard, ma'am. And please accept a big thumbs up from our team.
Thank you so much, sir.
It will be great.
It means a lot. I was very skeptical कि इस तरह का topic how the audience will take, but then I took a risk that let me, because as a teacher you have got so many things which you want your students to learn before, because you'd never learned them, you want them to learn. So with that intention, I took this risk of taking an out of the box idea. Thank you so much for giving such a good support to this choice. Thank you so much, Dr. Gaurav.
Great if you consider our request again, ma'am. We want you on our platform once again, ma'am. Thank you very much for sharing your valuable thoughts with us, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure, sir. It is always so good to connect with all people who are in the same profession. And in whatever capacity I can contribute, I'm always there to contribute.
It's really honor for us for listening a professor from a #1 university of India.
Thank you so much.
Really
Our pleasure. We are blessed. Thank you so much. Dr. Anjali is a very kind and a good friend of ours. So when she said I have no reason to say no, so she said that, ma'am, you have to come. Finally, primarily we did it. Thank you so much for inviting.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for being kind to us. It's our pleasure to have you on this platform. Now I request Dr. Ajmer Singh Grewal to please present a vote of thanks for the keynote speaker. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. With due respect, I would like to express my sincere thanks towards our worthy speaker, Dr. Zenath Iqbal, for sharing her valuable talk on the topic Need of an Hour Design Thinking. Ma'am, you have been wonderfully discussed about the various aspects of design thinking that include the process of design thinking, the key ideation technique, prototyping, and especially application of design thinking in pharmaceutical research and novel drug delivery system. It is very informative session also, and I think that the lecture delivered by you provide a fruitful insight for the benefit of all participants. Once again, a big thank you to ma'am for your efforts towards design thinking and provide an insight about the design thinking. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Dr. Ajmer, for your kind words. And I must put on record here that when I was looking forward to, because we normally depend on internet to get your material for the presentation, I could not get anything design thinking in pharmaceutical research at one go. So I just created that whole thing so that we can relate to this design thinking, although it is not directly applicable to pharmaceutical industry. But I deeply think that if we are able to take this up, we will be able to become a better researcher. So the ideas in the presentation are personal. I did not see any precedent on it, and I could not find any more relevant PPTs. So this was an idea which I thought I would share with my worthy colleagues, and if it works well, we can always take it forward with our students. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, all the organizers.
Sorry to interrupt, ma'am, but one of our students want to ask one question. Yes, Vishnu, please.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, beta.
Ma'am, I am Vishnu Mittal from Pharma first year.
Happy to know you, beta. Carry on.
Ma'am, can we use this different novel drug delivery system in 3D design?
Most of that, not the 3D design concept. Maybe sometime I would like to take a presentation on 3D design also. So normally when we talk of 3D design, because it is a part of novel drug delivery system, it comes under that. So 3D design system, you have to understand that it will not be applicable to all types of novel drug delivery system. So first idea is to whether it is befitting 3D or not. 3D आप हर एक के लिए नहीं बनाओगे. आपको पहले ये सोचना होगा कि 3D के लिए एक हर जब भी कोई प्रोजेक्ट आप सोचते हो प्रोडक्ट, तो आप एक काम करते हो जिसको कहते हैं फीजिबिलिटी असेसमेंट. आप ये देखते हो कि फीजिबल है कि नहीं. आप ड्रग का भी चॉइस करते हो, मान लीजिए ट्रांसडर्मल के लिए, तो आपको ये दिमाग में रखना है थ्योरेटिकली कि भी आपका जो ड्रग है उसका पीके क्या होना चाहिए, उसका पार्टीशन कोफिशिएंट क्या होना चाहिए, वो वाटर सॉल्युबल तो नहीं है, क्योंकि वाटर सॉल्युबल तो आपको बहुत दिक्कत करेगा ट्रांसडर्मल में जाने के लिए. तो पहला जो आप काम करते हो वो फीजिबिलिटी असेसमेंट करते हो कि मुझे 3D बनाना है, किस ड्रग का बनाना है और किस डिजीज के लिए बनाना है. When we are able to amalgamate and align all these things, then we decide what novel drug delivery system can be converted into a 3D system. आया समझ में बच्चा बात?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, beta.
Wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'll take your leave. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Dear participants, thank you so much for the patient listening. Our next third technical session will be start at 2 p.m. So please be there on time. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Please be on time at 2 p.m.
जहाँ सभी लोग शिफ्ट